I'm standing in front of the grave of the Forbis triplets who fell victim to the flu pandemic of 1918. I previously did a brief video on them, and I'll link that video in the description. But since then, I've discovered some additional information that's worth covering. So Margaret, Martha, and Mary were born on September 28, 1917, to George and Harriet Forbis. They were the couple's 5th, 6th, and 7th children. But unfortunately, in early 1918, the Spanish flu was in full swing. The first wave in the spring of 1918 was mild, but by the fall of 1918, it was widespread and deadly. Most people who died from the Spanish flu died in the summer months. Margaret died in February of 1918, which was the beginning of the pandemic. But by July, when the pandemic was considered widespread, Martha passed away, followed by Mary. So you could see this is Margaret, Martha, and Mary. September 28th, 1917. Margaret passed away February 26th, 1918. Martha, July 6th, 1918. And then Mary, July 17th. And it says, the children of Mr. and Mrs. W.C. Forbis. Okay, so now we're at the Berry Hill Baptist Cemetery, and we're standing in front of George and Harriet Forbis's grave. George and Harriet are the parents of the Forbis triplets that are buried in Elmwood. And you can see they both died in the early 60s. They've had other children. They're not buried with the triplets. But I'm going to put up a picture that I just, for some reason, find fascinating. I would like, your comments on what you think about this picture. It's really nice. It's George and Harriet kind of later in their years. But there's just something about it that I just find really nice. Okay, so let's go back to Elmwood. And the inscription is, "Sleep on, sweet babies, and take thy rest. God called thee home. He thought it best." But what's remarkable and heartbreaking is that their story isn't the only one like that in this cemetery. We're going to take a very short walk over to another family that was struck by the tragedy, which was even more devastating. So in 1875, long before the flu pandemic of 1918, Charlotte faced another deadly threat, the diphtheria pandemic. And in that year, one family didn't lose 1 or 2 children, but 6. In the 1800s, diphtheria was highly contagious and much feared in America. It spread through coughing, sneezing, and close contact, and it hit children the hardest. Once infected, a child could go from having a mild sore throat to struggling to breathe and to death within 48 hours. There were no vaccines, no antibiotics. Antitoxins developed in the early 1900s were still 20 years away, and they weren't very effective. Life-saving vaccinations wouldn't be available until the early 1920s. So these are the children of Absalom and Margaret Tate. 6 brothers and sisters, all lost in the same year, 1875, and all within 6 months. The oldest was 11, the youngest was just 1. And looking through some old newspaper clippings, we see that they were struck by the diphtheria outbreak in the 1800s. The baby, Absalom Jr., died in June. Then in the fall and winter, the disease returned to the Tate's house, and 5 more children died within just a few weeks. The parents survived and lived into the early 1900s. They later had one daughter, Annie, who was born after 1865's outbreak, and she lived a full life and is also buried here with the siblings she never really met. So you could see, let's go around really quick, but you could see there's some newer graves here, but we'll go through what we can. This is Margaret, I believe the mother, who passed away in 1914. Absalom, the father, who lived till 1904. I'll try and put up how they're all related for the ones that were not part of the diphtheria outbreak. So I think this is the beginning of the children who passed away in 1875. So Charles Overman Tate, Ida Virginia Tate, Thomas Randolph, Mary Louise, Leonora Corinna, and Absalom Humphreys Tate Jr. This was the baby who first passed away. So these 6 right here all passed away in 1875. Very sad. Can't imagine, losing 6 children within like 8 weeks. Okay, so that's the story of the 2 families that went through a horrific ordeal of seeing their children die due to diseases that had no cure at the time. So this area of Elmwood is the older area, and it seems to stand as a reminder of how fragile life was. And with that, I thank you for watching. I'm on my way out of here, and I'll see you again on the next video.